Dropping that shit on the headlight.
Welcome to FINS TV. I'm hosting Sammy, aka FINS Sponsor on X. It's the Wild Kingdom edition, the Cheetah edition of FINS TV, and so with my co-host Steve Hanna. Steve, welcome to the show.
We are on our way to Frankfurt, Sammy. I'm psyched up. I'm excited. I'm going to say thank goodness for daylight savings time. The only really time that I'm happy about that is when I'm going to gain an extra hour. So a 9:30 game will really feel like 10:30 local time here on the East Coast. In reality, just excited to see what we have ahead of us here against the Chiefs. Chop it up with our friends here about beating the wheels off the Patriots and talking a lot of Cheetah in the middle here.
Yeah, it's a 10:30 game here in Puerto Rico, so I'm golden about that. Well, it was a great week last week, so we're going to talk about that, but also on the show, the Cheetah effect. We're going to talk about the impact Tyreek Hill has had on the Dolphins. And as he looks this week to the rematch, well, not the rematch, he's facing his whole team. He's facing Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, and the whole gang in Frankfurt, Germany. And also, we're going to talk about the keys of the game. We're going to talk about how the Mike McDaniel adjustments are going to probably had a lot to do with this game. It's going to be a huge game, a battle for the number one seed probably in the AFC.
It's definitely the big game. I know I feel like a broken record here talking about the games against the Bills and the Eagles. I'm not too upset that we're not having to go into Arrowhead for this for a home game against the Chiefs. What does the stadium hold? About 55,000 people. Germany's the home international market for the Chiefs, so maybe they're going to have a little bit of bigger presence there. They're the defending champions. They're going to be more popular because, they like winners, especially in markets where they really don't know that as much about football, that they don't follow it as closely. But I'm not too upset about that, but I'm excited to see what we're going to roll out on the field. Starting to really feel it. I'm starting to get that confidence that I had confidence before. I was quiet about it. I'm starting to get a lot more of it after seeing Ramsey show back up on the field, seeing Waddle show back up. Got lots to talk about today. Just excited about it.
Absolutely. He had a huge impact on last Sunday's game. And we're definitely going to talk about that. So we're going to start. Hopefully the internet helps. And we're going to start with the victory last Sunday over the Patriots.
Hill in motion. Tua slinging it near side. It's caught. Two in Sunday Night Football. Tua slinging it over the middle, completes. Command onto the field, lines up at the top of your picture. Tua looking. Tua buried.
Has to eat the football.
Tagovailoa on 3rd and 15 over the middle. That pass is picked. Intercepted. It's Kyle Duggar.
So far, they have not been able to get outside.
Pitch play here. Wilson, first down and more.
Guys that have had to grind and prove themselves.
Some more misdirection. Tua slinging it to the end zone. It's caught. Tyreek Hill. Play by the rookie second-round pick. Tagovailoa on 3rd and long here. Near side to Hill. Just trying to get him into some open space. Dolphins are going to roll the dice. Here they come. Tua's going to run for it. First down Miami. Quick Decisive decision-making from Tagovailoa. 10-minute mark before halftime, 2nd and 8 for Miami. Tagovailoa, the fake handoff, fires, completes. Hill
In this defense.
Dolphins get it to Waddle. Into the flat. Waddle ducks inside the 10. He's close to the first down marker. Red zone touchdown percentage in the NFL. Trying to punch it in here. 2nd down pass. Tua, Cedric Wilson. Touchdown. Jones on 2nd and 9. He's dealing over the middle. Divine in here. Gonna try to tie this game. Pump fake. Jones throwing near side of the field. That pass intercepted. Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey's got a lead blocker. Ramsey out of bounds. He's got his first pick in his Dolphins debut.
Thinks of Jalen Ramsey.
Tagovailoa play action, quick delivery over the middle. That's Waddle.
Deal with this on the offensive line.
That's Mostert in motion, 2nd and 14. What a pass! Waddle, leaping catch. For Jason Sanders, Blake Ferguson, the snapper. Jones needs a play right here. 3rd and 5. They protect him well, and now they don't. Christian Wilkins, first sack of Jones this afternoon. The career high, he has matched that number here in week 8.
Or if he tries to run the football.
Tagovailoa up the seam. That's where they like to go as Hill finds a little bit of daylight. First down and more Miami. Here's Tua, steps up in the pocket, completes. Waddle atones for the drop.
At all.
Tagovailoa near side of the field. It's caught. Smythe. As this offense had complete command, Mostert waltzes in, and they build. And Ezekiel Elliott on the bottom of your picture. 3rd and 10. Here they come. Jones gets it out. 4th and goal from the 3. Jones near side. It's caught. Juju Smith-Schuster. As they play from the 31-yard line. Tua fakes over the middle, wide open. Waddle's going to waltz in. Miami supporters hopeful that Shula's going to hold on to that record. Mac Jones fires up the center of the field, and it is broken up. Nearly picked again. Juju Smith-Schuster was there playing defense, and Brandon 31-17, your final.
It was a huge moment when Jalen Ramsey picked up that pass from McCorkle Jones. So that and Tua scrambling. That's our 2 remarkable moments. But Steve, I want to know your thoughts about the game.
It's always better to watch highlights coming off of a victory. I know that.
Yes.
I'm a lot less critical, although I wouldn't even say it's a critical thing. You know, watching the highlights, seeing one of the first passes in your clip there shows how timing related to his game is.
Yeah.
He's uncorking a ball to a specific spot on the field at a specific time before the wide receiver even makes his break, let alone turns around. And the first one worked out really well for Hill, and then I don't know what happened on that interception, but it's one of those things that you realize that when Tua knows where he wants to go to, which is sometimes a flaw for him, as the case it was with that interception, that
Yes.
He threw it to a point on the field at a point in time expecting Tyreek to make the break, and whether Tyreek went a little bit further than he was expecting, not too sure, resulted in an interception there. But that's the bad from the game. The good is, offensively, we got the job done. Tua, 324 yards, 10 different wide receivers. Waddle, he must be listening to the FINS TV broadcast here, because he's woken up after a couple weeks of getting some crap from my cohorts here.
Has some drops. The last game.
He did. He did.
But he was clutch.
We'll talk about that, Sammy. But he's really Waddle. He's got a game about him. I'll give a huge shout out. You showed it in the clip. One of the passes later on in the game, somebody hit him. Of course, there wasn't a flag for illegal contact 10 yards down the field, and Tua threw it to that point on the field where he expected Waddle to be, and he reaches up with his fingertips and pulls it in, and thank goodness he did, because if he hadn't, the defender was sitting right back there, and it was going to be an easy interception, and everybody would have talked about how bad of a pass it was and not paid attention to the fact that Waddle got chucked off his route when it should have been illegal contact. But it was really a great game for that, for the offense to come back out and do that. I'm going to save the defensive talk for when we get Eddie and Matt onto the show here, but it was an exciting game. Just can't get enough of having Victory Monday. It's really good.
Yeah, for me, other than that Jalen Ramsey impact, you can see I don't think they threw too much to his side of the field, and when they did, of course, it was an interception. But you can see that that's a huge impact on the game. It's gonna be the next game we're gonna talk about later. But when even without Holland and without Howard, you can see the defense was a whole different defense. And Bill Belichick was priceless during the last game. He didn't throw the flag to the floor. He was so frustrated. It was so much fun.
I think I saw him at one point reach down into his sock. It wasn't even, I think it was a penalty or something. He was just going to be grumpy and throw his flag at the line judge's feet because he was just so angry that it was a penalty. And I forget what it was. It might have been the offensive lineman downfield, which
Yeah,
we were in our WhatsApp chat thing.
Yes.
And I was like, I can't believe the logic that in Eddie's message to us was he wasn't past that 1 yard line downfield, which you watch it, and he really wasn't. It was it was hard to tell because Tua's drop was so deep on that play, so it looked like it. But those things never happen in Miami. Miami never gets the flags picked up. And then to turn around like a drive or two later for the Patriots, they had an illegal offensive lineman downfield. It was great to see. I've laughed a couple times during that game thinking about that Belichick picture that you had put up on the top corner here where we have Ramsey on this week's broadcast. It was a very good feeling. Tua's undefeated against him. That's good. I'll always take a win against the Patriots. I don't care how poor the other teams think they are.
And the media in New England is still sour grapes, talking about how they would be so much better if they didn't have Tua, and still they're talking about that. That's just ridiculous. But that's not gonna change. I think Tua, of course, you know, then when he gets sacked, he gets rattled, and he gets anxious, and that's when the danger. You know something's gonna happen. That here comes the pick. Oh, there's the pick. But he's like that kind of boxer that when he gets knocked down and get ups, oh, here he comes, and he comes to knockout. There's something about that. It's a sequence. He gets hit, he gets sacked, he throws interception. After the interception, he comes back, scores 2 touchdowns, and he's poised and he knows what he needs to do. So I think
it was definitely a great game for Tua. I don't know the stats. I see a lot of people on the socials talk about it. Here comes Tua after he throws an interception, and it's true. He seems to show up a lot differently after he throws that, which is a great trait. He doesn't go out there and make the same mistake twice usually.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a clip earlier today of that Tua, the touchdown to Waddle, and it was like the slow motion from a different angle where he just threw it, and as he threw it, he just kept on walking slowly towards the sideline.
So
just that
yes.
stride. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Victory Mondays, victory Wednesdays, they're always better than the losses. I'll take them all the time.
So much fun. So we are going to be joined by our esteemed panelists, the FTV Crew of Matt Anstrud and the controversial Eddie Chapman. Good evening, guys.
Gentlemen.
Well, it was a fun game. It's as fun when you win. And even better when it's the Patriots. No matter what the record is, they can be 1-7, 2-6. It doesn't matter. Still the Patriots. If there's any doubts about that, just ask the Buffalo Bills, who lost the week before to the same Patriots. So it happens. But Matt, I want to start with you and know your thoughts about last Sunday's game against the Patriots.
Hey guys, it's good to be back.
Good evening.
Wednesday, always a great day.
Yes.
I just want to make a comment real quick. That video that Steve referenced earlier, it's a really super cool video, especially if you're a Dolphins fan. But the first time I ever met Steve, that's the first time I ever saw that walk. Steve walks like that. I think Tua actually learned that from Steve Hallett. And I was a little bit surprised when I saw it. I thought, that's Steve Hallett right there. He got that. He's copying
the Steve walk.
Yeah.
It took a while for me to teach it to him.
Yeah.
Is the Hallett walk or the Steve walk? What is it? The Steve walk, the Hallett walk?
He's a left-hander, so it does take a little bit of time to get it right. But thoughts on the game? Number one, you beat a division rival.
Yes.
Number two, you beat them for the second time in the season.
Mhm.
So you'd have to have an utter collapse to even worry about the Patriots for the rest of the year.
Mhm.
Sammy, you made a comment about the New England media, and it reminds me of all media who doesn't see the Dolphins on a regular basis like we do. They
Mhm.
see them on the national Sunday night game, or
Yes.
they see them because they're playing in New York or they're playing in New England. And they that forms their opinion of the team of the game. You know, if Tua has a poor showing, he's awful quarterback. Uh, if he goes for four and no interceptions, yeah, but somebody else could do that in that offense, right? They're never going to give the props because the New England media is incredibly spoiled, and I'll
Mhm.
give them that. But I'm also going to give them that Tua is 6-0 against Bill Belichick. So you can have your opinions, New England media. As far as the rest of the game, I don't know for a fact. I think that interception may have occurred on a miscommunication. It's what it seemed to be when it played in real time. And here's the really cool thing for me as a fan: there was no angst about that interception. It was a doggone it, we'll get
Mhm.
him on the next. We'll get him next time. And the reality is that's exactly what happened. Cornerbacks, defensive backs, there's a famous saying that they have to forget the last play and go to the next one because if they get burnt, forget it. It's over. Move forward. And it appears that Tua has absolutely embraced that mentality. He threw an INT. It
Mhm.
happens. Let's go. Let's keep going. Um, I felt like the entire team played really, really well. And I saw a stat earlier today. I think uh, the Dolphins lead the league in quarterback hits, and they also lead the league in fewest quarterback hits on Tua. So we are 6-2, so we're 8 games into the season. I think now we have a good, clear idea. We've had games against uh, a plethora of teams, really good teams, so teams. We really haven't played the horrible teams yet, like the Jets. That's coming up in the schedule. But I was really impressed with Sunday's match.
Absolutely. Eddie, the controversial Eddie Chapel. I want to know your thoughts about. We were chatting during the game. It was like I said, like a kind of roller coaster kind of ride for a while, but at the end we got to win. I don't want to know your thoughts now that you have calmed down after the game. I want to know your
Yeah,
thoughts about the game.
crazy during the game, so I'm glad I can vent to all you guys. Uh, Makes it easier than just yelling at my dog or the neighbors. Dog doesn't care anyways. But now it started out poor there, being down 7-0. Two is good for one interception a game usually, but
Mm-hmm.
like Matt said, you don't worry about it. Like you don't think he's gonna come back the next one and next drive and throw another interception, or you just feel confident. Um, it's been a long time since we could say that. I think New England went into that game trying to stop our run because they did a good job on it, and well, we made them pay with 200-yard receivers, and they hadn't given up 100 yards to any receiver all year, and that includes the great Stephon Diggs or whatever his name is. Tired of hearing about, but or Philadelphia guy. So that was pretty impressive to have 200-yard receivers against what's still a good defense. Even though I wish they would trade J.C. Jackson to every team we play because Tyreek Hill owns him.
Wasn't Jesse Jackson that guy was saying that Tua was nothing special, and
Yeah,
he was uh,
yeah,
it was Jesse Jackson. I think he got burned. He's been burned twice this season by
yeah.
Tua and Tyreek Hill. So
San Diego, I believe, back to New England. I know we were interested in him. I'm glad we never signed.
yes, that we dodged that bullet. So
Yes, but overall they played well. The defense looks a lot better. I mean, they give up plays. At least now they look, even with the injuries, with guys out, especially with the safety out, your QB of the defense, if you want to call them that. They
yes,
look they look cohesive now. They look like they know what their are. They're not trying to make every play by themselves. And I noticed, and I said it to my dad during the game. I said, even when when New England were catching passes, there was three guys coming up and hitting the receivers, which was nice. Usually, oh, it would drive me. Guy missed a tackle, and there he goes for 20 yards. But it was really nice. Everybody I said something bad. All I pointed the three Jalen's last week. They all did an interception.
I think the team did a graphic about that. I was reminded of you. The TJ Lens had a huge game last season. One sack, one touchdown. You know, they came through. So that's what
and
we're expecting from them.
and Ramsey's special. I said it last week. I said we don't have the guy that steps in front of a pass. We have the guy that lets a guy catch a pass or tries to knock. He knew what he baited him into that interception.
Yeah, for a while, of course, not a lot of teams can. The Patriots are not special on the wide receiver front. I'm not putting down, but that's the truth. But if Jalen Ramsey during that game at least reminded me so much of Deion Sanders. You know, he took one side of the field and then the defense was the other. The whole defense was the other side. So if Jalen Ramsey can be that kind of factor from now on, this defense is gonna be completely different. Steve, I want to know your last thoughts about the victory about against the Patriots.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time talking about offense. Got to give my respect to the defense here. They held the Patriots under 220 yards. They showed a complete game, and in years past, we've seen way too often where they were disjointed, and you'd be able to talk about one or two players on the defense that had a good game, but it was just miscues. And Eddie, you just said it. They know their assignment, and now we're talking about 9 to 10, maybe sometimes all 11 players on the team on the defensive side of the ball, knowing their assignment, playing where they need to be. It frustrated me a lot earlier in the season, but you really have to respect the fact when you give up passes to Mac Jones or any quarterback that we're playing against, but they're not able to break it deep because the safeties are doing that, know their assignment. It's Deshaun Elliott, huge underrated signing in the offseason.
Yes.
David Long Jr. I wasn't too sure on him, but I'm not a film junkie. I didn't watch a lot of Titans film, before he came to Miami. Fangio even said hinted he might have a couple of reservations about him. He's studied up and he knows what the hell he's doing, and he is really, really impressed. What is he, one of the top rated linebackers against the run in the league this year?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible performances. And we're getting ready to get healthier. And it's a long season. 11 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday, we're going to hit that halfway point through the regular season in the NFL at 8.5 games. And we have our sights on getting more people healthy. Frankly, I think, I wouldn't mind them sitting a couple people that they're talking about bringing back right now. But the thoughts of having a Jalen Ramsey on one side and a Xavier Howard and a Kader Kohu, and you've got some other guys on the bench that can come in and reserve and fill those nickel and dime packages up. And Javon Holland, Brandon Jones was playing pretty solidly until he took that shot from Juju Smith-Schuster on that duck that Mac Jones threw up there. But just an absolutely incredible game from the defense. Everybody loves to talk in the circles and the media about the Patriots and what Mac Jones could be, and he has a really good, solid showing. He goes out there and shows up, and then he steps into Miami and he just absolutely gets humbled and shown to be who everybody, who we know he is. So, absolutely impressive game from the defense, and I think it was a good primer for what we're going to need to see from them for 4 quarters in Germany this Sunday.
Absolutely, and Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb has really come through lately. So you can see, especially Bradley Chubb. We talked on FINS TV episodes before that We're still hoping that we're not too far from what we were expecting. And Jalen Phillips, he's getting healthier, and and it shows. He's getting the pressures. He's going after the balls. Matt, any last thoughts about the Patriots game?
We talked about a little bit about Jalen Waddle. He got hurt at the beginning of the year, and he had some time off, time out, and now I think it's 3 consecutive games over 100 yards. What does a defensive coordinator do when he looks at? You already know on our next subject. You already know, that it's which door do you choose? The one with the lion behind it, or the one with the tiger behind, the cheetah behind it? I'm sorry, how could I mess up that analogy? Which one do you choose? Which poison, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy with Waddle, except for the drops. We could talk about that later, but it feels so good after years and years and years of hoping and praying, especially with a home game, because the Dolphins have had a decent home record against the Patriots over the last 20 years.
Yes.
It felt so good to know that it was the Patriots fans who were hoping that they could come back. It wasn't us. We weren't that fan base. So it feels good to beat the Patriots every single time.
Like I said, I've said it before during the other episodes. Of course, we're fans. We go through the ups and downs, but we need to enjoy this too. We need to enjoy every single moment, every single week, because this is special. It's been 20 years from frustration and bad coaching and scandals and everything, and so when the Patriots are up 7 points and your expectation, and the Panthers are 14 points ahead, and your expectation will be back, we kind of get spoiled. We have a lot of confidence in this team, and it says a lot about the future of the Dolphins. So next, we're gonna talk about the Cheetah effect, the effect that Tyreek Hill has had on the Dolphins.
Hill up to 1,014 receiving yards already this season. Goodness. He's the 4th player in the NFL history to get 1,000 yards in his team's first 8 games, and the first since Charlie Hennigan and the Houston Oilers back in 1960.
Top 3 this week, though. I'll give it to this team right here. Give it to me right now, please. Bang! The Miami Dolphins, the most prolific offense in the National Football League, with the scariest offensive player this generation may have ever seen. You see this brother Tyreek Hill and what he's doing right now, on pace for 2,000 yards now, still doing his thing. Tua Tagovailoa, an MVP candidate as well. Of course, you know the rest of the crew that they got with Waddle and the boys in their defense ain't that shabby. The bottom line, they handled the New England Patriots, but more importantly, they're still atop the AFC North. We understand that. The Buffalo Bills are on the come up. They stumped them a few weeks ago, but we know the Buffalo Bills have been up and down. I can't throw the Dolphins to the side. I got to give them some love.
He and Jalen Waddle both go over 100 yards. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's like the 5th or the 6th time that they've done that in the same game. And I mean, what do we say about Reed? What do we say about Tyreek?
When people, and I'm gonna say it again, and I say it over and over and over. When we talk about Tyreek, when we talk about top 5, when we talk about let's stay within this era of football. We talk about the best players. Tyreek is in his own category. And that's why I always say, and I've been saying it for the past 2 years, don't ask me to do top 5, because Tyreek is in a class of his own. And that's with all due respect to all the other players, but it's just unfair.
They don't possess what he possesses.
It's unfair, the combination of speed, size. I mean, the fact that he's small, he can go across the middle.
But I'm glad. Can you imagine if he was Randy Moss's height with that kind of?
Then if you're just a deep threat, then everybody backs up and stop you. You just back up and say, we're not going to let you go deep. What makes him the greatest deep threat is if you back up and say, we're not letting you go deep, then the show do. This little fast dude will run across the middle, get the ball, and come on run back right by you in your deep threat zone. You see a lot of the guys that ran up the field that fast won't go across the middle that fast. He will.
Are Tyreek and Tua the best quarterback and wide receiver duo in the league right now?
They're up there. They're certainly, statistically, you're not going to be able to argue their success. So right now, they're in the conversation. I think sometimes those are a little silly, like who's better than whom. I would take them all day, every day, obviously, because they may set every record in the history of professional football. And again, here's the question. Is Tyreek Hill unguardable?
Yeah.
He is.
He is flat out unguardable. Absolutely. When you think
Let me ask you about one of those young wide receivers, Tyreek Hill. He's putting up crazy numbers, potentially talked about 2,000 yards. For a while, he was on pace for 3,000 yards. You were very close to winning an MVP on a number of occasions. Can Tyreek be that guy? If he gets 2,000 yards, should he be the MVP of the NFL?
Well, I think he has a great chance because speed kills, man. And, what's happening, you cannot play him one-on-one. You cannot play him bump and run. And you cannot play him, man-to-man. So he's making plays over the middle. He's making, he's catching deep balls. He's doing everything. I think he has a great chance of being the most valuable player.
Game yesterday, Jalen Waddle, star receiver, tweeted out the Cheetah effect. What in the hell is the Cheetah effect? Let's take a look. This is Tyreek Hill, the man they call Cheetah. Many of you already know this. What you might not know, he has an NFL record over 1,000 yards receiving through 8 games. Tyreek Hill, number 10 at the bottom of the screen. Now, I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. Bear with me. The defense all week long in meetings, they have circled this dude, and they have said, do not let Tyreek Hill beat you. The defensive coordinator walks into the meeting room. He yells at everybody and says, hey, you keep your eyes on Tyreek Hill wherever he goes. If he goes to the bathroom to take a crap, you flush the toilet. If he goes to the bathroom to take a piss, you tap off the last 3 drops. Oh, pause. Anyway, you know where Tyreek Hill is. It's 3rd and 1. 2 minutes, 49 seconds left. The Dolphins are up by 7. The Patriots have to get a stop. This is the Cheetah effect. Tyreek Hill, he's going to go in motion. Being covered right now by Jack Jones, number 13. Number 13 is going to run with Tyreek Hill. But remember what the defensive coordinator said all week long. You do not let Tyreek Hill, the Cheetah, beat you. This man, number 31, Jonathan Jones, he heard the same thing. So Jonathan Jones sees Tyreek Hill running in motion. He vacates his responsibility. He's like, I'm not going to let Cheetah beat me. Jack Jones, he's like, I'm not going to let Cheetah beat me. Problem. They let Jalen Waddle beat him. Jalen Waddle, he's sitting there, hand in the air like, hey, big dog, if they both going to run with Tyreek Hill, don't forget your boy. Hand up. Easy 7. Dolphins score. Dolphins win. And that right there, that's the Cheetah effect. He takes 2. Jalen Waddle says, I'll take 6.
Like the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Jerry Rice said, speed kills. The Cheetah effect, and definitely the Cheetah has had a huge impact on the Dolphins. It's been huge on and off the field. He's basically changed his whole franchise, from the perception around the league, from the you can go to a game and you can see the kids wearing Tua Tagovailoa, but also Tyreek Hill's jersey all over the place. His attitude is contagious when it's being unreal. But I want to start with you, Steve. I want to know your thoughts about the Cheetah effect, the effect that Tyreek Hill has had on the Dolphins this year.
It's great to have a player like Tyreek Hill that captivates the attention of the country, because it's been a long time since Miami's been in that environment. Frankly, I think from a positive production standpoint, Tua is always polarizing in ways that I don't understand with media, but Tyreek does it in a different way where everybody knows who Tyreek Hill is. We had just beat the Patriots in week 2. My friend, longtime Patriot, he's from Boston, longtime Pats fan, messaged me and he's like, hey, you guys, great game, but I just want to say I'm happy because I have Tyreek Hill on my team, my fantasy team. So, but his impact on the field is undeniable. He opens it up for everybody else. For years, we said we can't pass because we don't have a running game, or we can't run because we can't establish a passing game. Frankly, it was just because we were a use case in futility for offense in the NFL. Tyreek Hill opens it up automatically for us. When he's on the field, he opens it up for us. And Mike McDaniel does a lot of that too, because sometimes you'll see both Hill and Waddle sitting on the sideline and we're still able to move the ball. But Tyreek Hill, he's not just been a great impact on the field, opening up for everybody else. Frankly, he's a great model for the rest of the team. And I'm not going to speak about personal life stuff. I'm talking about how he is in the locker room. He's a consummate professional from the time he steps into the locker room and sets the example for young players and veterans alike on how they need to transact their lifestyle if they want to be at the top of the game. And we have is a privilege to be able to watch him play for the Dolphins and show the impact that he has on the rest of the team. The last thing I'll say about this, that Tua effect, I was thinking about it before the Acho post. He drew everybody over there to the point that you leave, frankly, somebody that could be number one wide receiver on a lot of NFL teams just wide open. And that was the one where he did the Steve Strut, after Tua tossed the ball, that Matt was talking about earlier. But yeah, so it's great to have Cheetah on the team. It's a definite impact on and off the field.
Absolutely. You see, the Dolphins are trending. I saw Darren Rovell yesterday do a post when he put 4 kids on a street and said, the kids in New Jersey dress as dolphins. Like, that's amazing. The fact that of course Tyreek Hill, but Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel, it's been a huge change for the whole franchise. But I want to know your thoughts, Matt. What's your thoughts about the Cheetah effect, the effect that Tyreek Hill has had with the Dolphins?
I think Jerry Rice is the best wide receiver I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And the stats don't deny that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really, really interested in hearing his thoughts when he was asked, and speed kills was essentially the answer. One thing about the clip you just showed that I really appreciated was, you notice how many receivers were responding to the question?
Exactly.
Because they know, right? Michael Irvin, Shannon Sharp, obviously Jerry Rice. And then you get some of the other pundits who, the one guy who, they're in the conversation. No. Tyreek Hill is the best wide receiver in the NFL today. But I say that with a caveat that that football is the ultimate team sport. If you have a breakdown in one spot, it will take your legs out from under you, figuratively and literally. So there's a lot going on in that clip of the clear out where Jalen Waddle had the wide open touchdown. That's the effect. That's the Cheetah effect, but that's also the entire team working as one. The Patriots following him over there, that's getting your legs cut out from under you. That's the mistake they made. And it is 100% because the Dolphins offense is working it's simpatico with each piece is working together. It's why we don't talk so much about the offensive line, which has been a conundrum for 40, 50 years, it seems like. The Cheetah effect is real, and it's almost embarrassing to look at the other wide receiver, as Steve said. That's Jalen Waddle over there. So who is the real effect? Maybe it's not the Cheetah effect. Maybe it's the Dolphins wide receiver effect. It's an embarrassment of riches, and I'm just glad number 10 and number 17 are wearing our colors.
Absolutely. And if you've watched, probably happened to you too, guys. If you're watching another team game, it looks so slow. You kind of like, don't really want to watch this. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if you share that as it happened to you guys, but there are a whole when I say that they are on a completely different speed. It's so entertaining. But I want to know your thoughts, Eddie, about the Cheetah effect and the effect of Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins.
Well, to your point right there, watching other games is it's Mike McDaniel too, just the way he sets up his offense. You watch these other guys that just go up to the line, and you're like, you're so spoiled from motion, crazy handoffs. It's crazy now. But as for the Tyreek effect, he's all right. He's no Leggadu Nene or whatever we got way back in the day. But no,
Wow, that's a blast from the past.
yeah, Cheetah is. He's great in the locker room. He gets them fired up during the game. He's fired up. He doesn't let anybody get down. He's a great teammate. Uh, I was watching an interview or his podcast, Darius Slay, who we had just played the week before, one of the corners. And he said, "You do not realize how fast he is until you're on the field with him. There's nothing comparable to anybody else, how fast he is. And not only is he fast now, but he has learned to run routes with the best guys in the NFL, as good as anybody in the NFL. It just makes him that much more dangerous. He's the funnest player we've had in a long, long time. And he opens up the offense. And I look forward to seeing him every week. I was so scared when they said he hurt. Don't take him. Not him.
Yeah, and credit also to Mike McDaniel. You can have the best weapon in the world, but Mike McDaniel has he's another level compared to when we was with the Chiefs. They say when he's with Dolphins, he's gonna catch a 5 yard passes, and he's gonna regret it so much, and he's up his game. And Mike McDaniel has opened up the offense for him, and it's just incredible. Steve, any last thought about the cheat effect, the fact that Tyreek Hill has had with the offense?
I know this is the Cheetah segment, and I hinted at it before, and it's really it's a combination of what the team is built around Tua, and it's what Mike McDaniel envisioned. It's when he was, when he first met face to face with Tua, and they sat down, and went through like 700-800 plays or something like that on film, where McDaniel charted everything out and was able to go through them and build that prototypical offense that he knew that very few quarterbacks could run, and run it with precision and consistency. And they built that speed around him, and what did it with the discipline. It's another thing from the Cheetah effect. It's, again, he is a professional and he wants to be the best, and he doesn't just say, hey, I'm going to wake up and be the best, and grabs a bag of Cheetos and just goes about doing what he wants to do and just being lazy. He goes out and he executes on it and shows the other players what they need to do to execute that offense to a T, and they hold each other accountable by action of how they do it. Eddie, you made a good point. He doesn't let the other people get down. He's picking people up off the ground. And while we're seeing players throw their helmets and get upset when they have a loss or something like that, we haven't seen, knock on wood, Tyreek yet throw his helmet or, scream in a quarterback's face or anything like that because he's not getting the ball and he only puts up 80 yards or something like that. So it's really impressive. It's great. Again, Sammy, you're talking about watching other games. I could have, granted, it was because they were playing the Bills and they had a chance to beat them at 3 opportunities from the 1 yard line. They failed to. But seeing how the New York Giants showed up against Buffalo and literally had 3 opportunities, 1 at the end of the first half and 2 opportunities from the 1 yard line at the end of the game. And their best option was to just simply put Saquon Barkley in a single back set behind the quarterback and try to trick a team into doing what they're doing. And I'm like, Mike McDaniel would never do that. There would be wide receivers moving around setting, and then Tyreek going on a quick split to confuse the living hell out of the defense. And does the speed, do those routes that Cheetah runs intimidate and change the way teams have to play? Absolutely. And as much as teams want to try to repeat and copy what we're doing, they're not going to be able to.
Absolutely. And Mike McDaniel is key. That's why I truly believe that he's not gonna let Tua. He's not gonna let Tyreek take a loss against his former team this Sunday. He has to know that for Tyreek, this game is huge. Players don't say, no, it's not just another game. Just ask Ryan Tannehill a couple of years ago when he said it just was another game, and after he got the win, he was like celebrating like a baby. So, yeah, it's huge for him. Right? And Mike McDaniel, as a player's coach, he knows how big this game is for Tyreek. So I'm sure he's going to do whatever. The whole team is going to do whatever it takes, but especially Mike McDaniel, whatever it takes for Tyreek to take this win. It's a huge win for him personally, probably. So next we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this Sunday showdown from Frankfurt, Germany, against the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Miami, if they had to play Miami at that time of the year, what would happen? Buffalo in that situation. Kansas City, to me, needs home field advantage more this year than they've needed it.
Swagoo, I couldn't disagree with you more. I think that you are completely lost with this take. And let me explain to you why. First of all, let's get something historical out of the way, Doggy. You'll appreciate this. You remember that 1972 team that Mercury Morris keeps nauseating us over with about how undefeated they were in 72 when they won the Super Bowl. They went undefeated. They went back-to-back Super Bowls that year. After that, they played in the Super Bowl in 1984 when Dan Marino threw for over 5,000 yards. This is 1984. Dan Marino threw for over 5,000 yards and 48 touchdowns when he had Mark Super Duper and Mark Clayton to throw the damn football to, okay? They were big time, no doubt about that. You realize that the Miami Dolphins haven't been back to the Super Bowl since? Well, let's get that out. They're about to go up against the reigning defending Super Bowl champions who we all anticipate will be in the playoffs. So the word need with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, I don't think is applicable here. Let's also add the level of pressure swagger that we're talking about here. You got Tua Tagovailoa leading the league in passing yards and tied for the league in touchdown passes, okay? But what is their record against it in their 6 wins? Their 6 wins, none have come against winning teams. All of them have come against losing teams with a combined record of 13-33. That's where all 6 of their victories have come from. But when they went up against competition in Buffalo, and when they went up against competition in Philadelphia, in Buffalo they got bum rushed. In Philadelphia they got beat. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. And I'm looking at those 2 losses. All of a sudden, Tua diminishes to 250 yards passing per game with a total of 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he's sacked 7 times. And oh, by the way, they've been outscored 79-37. And defensively, they've allowed 9 touchdowns in 12 trips to the red zone. All I'm saying to you is this. Let's look at those numbers. Let's take into consideration the level of competition. So when the big boys show up, you can't be found. When the little boys show up, you stomp. And we're supposed to celebrate that. Well, the big boys are the ones you're going to play in the playoffs. Or in games like this. That's in Germany, which, by the way, that's a damn miss by the NFL because a game of this magnitude should have been on home turf, in the United States of America. With respect to Frankfurt, Germany, but damn it, I don't give a damn. I want you.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Okay. We're gonna try that later. Like, I'm gonna edit that out. But basically, is it game of the year until the next one, or the last one? You can see the media is going all over again about the same thing about the Dolphins cannot get the big win. They cannot beat the team with on the road. It's the same old rhetoric, but this game is on a neutral field, so the Dolphins probably are gonna have I'd rather have the whole neutral field than going to Germany and the whole field advantage that presents. But I want to know your thoughts about the game, Steve, about the game against the defending Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
There's no denying how dominant the Chiefs have been. They're, in my opinion, they're probably one near-term Super Bowl win away from being a dynasty. Phenomenal team. I take issue with what Stephen A. Smith said there, talking about how I miss the context around what they're really saying, but who really needs this game more? I think both teams clearly need a victory here because this will determine who is the leading team in the AFC in this conference. But Patrick Mahomes, aside from Super Bowl on neutral sites and everything, he's never played a playoff game away from home. Mm-hmm. Who is this more important to? Tua doesn't play that well on the road in the spotlights and everything, sure. Mm-hmm. But who is Patrick Mahomes? Nobody knows other than in Super Bowl games, which I'm not going to deny his greatness of what he's done in those games. But let's be real, everybody needs this game. When you're 6-2 and the other team is 6-2, and this is to determine who is going to lead for the next week in the AFC, both teams need it just as badly. I feel like a broken record here. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Said that leading into Buffalo, leading into Philly. We got stomped, and then we fell flat. Didn't really put together much of a game against Philly. But this is true. Defending Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs are the best. It's undeniable. And I think that it's a prime opportunity. Again, I can't emphasize enough how fantastic it is to have our team starting to come together healthy. The impact that Ramsey is going to have on the backside of that defense, Javon Holland coming in back off the concussion protocol. I think that it's a very, very good time to really test that measure of dominance of what the Chiefs can be.
Absolutely. Matt, what are your thoughts about Sunday's game against the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs?
So much to unpack here, starting off with Stephen A. Smith's comments. My biggest thorn in my side is when people talk strength of schedule. It's artificial. It's made up. It is a narrative to expand upon talking points. The strength of schedule is irrelevant. I talked about this a couple episodes ago because of so many things that change from one season to the next, from one game to the next. The strength of schedule is irrelevant because injuries occur. You can call it whatever you want. Did they lose to the Bills and the Eagles? Yeah, they really lost to the Bills. And the Eagles game, I can sit here and argue all day long that they were in that game, but they lost, and that's not debatable. And I didn't know what their wins, the winning record, or the record of their opponents was for all of the games they won. But I'm going to stand on this and explain to anybody that hears my voice, strength of schedule is a mirage. It's not real. There's nothing about that simply because there's too many things, number one, that cannot be controlled. And number two, every one of those teams is an NFL team. So I will bet money that the majority of the media who absolutely knows everything about this game picked the Dolphins to be last place in the AFC East when they projected the 2023 season. And I challenge anybody to debate me on that. The Bills, the front runner. The Jets, up and coming. The Patriots, they're the Patriots. Who's left in last place? So it's an easy thing to say, well, they haven't beaten anybody. Hey, guys, y'all are the ones that put them in last place. So who's really the bad team here? Let's give props to where it's due. The Kansas City Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champs, man. You got an opportunity to go out there. Steve, I think you just said to be the man, you got to beat the man, right?
Woo!
Woo! Ric Flair. So let's go do that. It's not in Miami. I'd prefer that. Last time we played in Miami, boy, they almost pulled that off, right?
Yes.
That sack that Jerome Baker had on
25
that was like something
yards.
out of Madden. I've never been so excited in my life. He actually got the sack. In our lives, that's always gotten away from us. And in that particular play, oh my God, we were in that game.
Yes.
Is this Dolphins team better than that Dolphins team? Yeah, absolutely it is. So let's go over to Frankfurt and let's put our Dukes up. Xavier Howard will be back. He's the league leader in interceptions since he entered the league. Who's that on the other side? Oh, that's right, number 5. Hi, number 5. I said on this show last week, show me a strong defensive line, and I'll show you an all-pro defensive backfield. And that's all I really got to say about that. Let's go. I can't wait for Sunday. I cannot wait for it because I think the Dolphins are going to pull this off. I'll make my prediction later in the show, but you asked my thoughts on the Chiefs. They're the ones that need to ice up, son. They're the ones that need to buckle up. Let's go.
We're coming, baby. How about you, Eddie? What are your thoughts about this Sunday's game in Frankfurt Germany? It's the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
I think that this is the time that Miami is going to go in fired up instead of like Buffalo against us when we were high flying and Philadelphia coming off the loss. I don't know why. I know Denver lost. They lost to Denver last week. Don't care about that. I just think Miami is primed. I think the team wants to win for Tyreek. I just believe Miami wants this game. They want to get that monkey off their back. I'm sure they're tired of hearing about it too. They have to be, if they even pay attention to it, which they probably don't. But I don't know. I have a feeling. Sometimes my feelings get way off on when I feel like this, so I'm a little nervous. But I think Miami's going to win this game. I believe they're going to go in with that it factor this time that usually somebody brings against them, and I think they'll come out of their styling and profiling.
Yeah, baby. So we're gonna talk next about the keys to the game. First, when you have someone like Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the world, someone like probably we never seen before take the league by storm, uh, MVP of the league, everything. His scramble ability, when you think uh, if you saw the Netflix series Quarterback, he's a competitor. He's always thinking about the game. So that's the kind of guy you want to. Even if he's not on your team, you respect that and you want him to succeed because he gets serious into the game. So, but when you have someone like Patrick Mahomes, well, basically you know that, um, you know that uh, he's a factor. He's the big factor in the game. So if the Dolphins can find a way to stop his scramble ability, of course he's gonna go off as soon as they need him to. But if you can somehow limit his scramble ability, that 3rd and 10 where you think you got him and he starts scrambling, he gets the first down, like Josh Allen used to do so many times to the Dolphins. If the Dolphins can find a way this game to put a spine on him and contain that, the Dolphins probably gonna have a very good chance to win the game. That's my key to the game. So, Matt, what's your key to the game this Sunday?
After the Chargers game, we had some time to talk on this show about the Vic Fangio defense. What is going on? What are they doing? And I stood that day on the hill of it's the first game. Give them time. Let them absorb, let them learn, let them become a cohesive unit. And we're seeing that. They've talked about it. There's articles today in the Miami Herald regarding that specifically, how they feel, they being the defense, feel much more comfortable in what they're doing, in their reads, in everything that goes on out there in that window of time from play to play. They're also getting players back from injury, which can only make them stronger. And something that we talked about after the Philadelphia game, and I remember vividly telling you guys and anybody that can hear our voices, the Dolphins hurt Jalen Hurts. They pounded him.
Mm-hmm.
They got to him. They lead the league in quarterback hits. And I'm not a proponent for hurting anybody, but I do know that if you knock me down 10 times, I'm going to get up much slower after the 10th one than I did after the first one.
Mm-hmm.
This Dolphins defense, if you look at it from the back to the front, you've got corners that can cover. You got corners that can hurt you. You've got safeties that will jump a pass in a heartbeat. And while you're doing that, while you're trying to find your receiver, you've got 4 linemen that are looking to take your head off. I'm not saying that Mahomes is invincible, and I'm not saying that he can't be beat. I'm simply stating that if they get to him and they hurt him and they're close, the Dolphins have a chance. They've got a really good chance on Sunday.
Absolutely. Before I go to Eddie, I want to discuss a little bit about the injury report. They have Robert Hunt, Brandon Jones, Raheem Mostert, Darren Smythe all did not practice today. Teron Armstead back in practice today. That's huge for the Dolphins. River Craycraft, Xavier Howard, Nick Needham, Jalen Ramsey, and Connor Williams limited, and Alec Ingold and is back as Alec Ingold practice today. But I want to know your thoughts about the. Let me go back here again. Something's messed up over here, and here we go. I want to know your thoughts about the game, the keys to the game for Sunday's game against the Chiefs, Eddie.
Put You guys on Travis Kelsey, do not let him beat you. I don't hear the receivers. I know the Rice kid is starting to come up pretty big now for him. But you have two great corners out there because I'm pretty sure X is playing this week. So got to cover that middle of the field, Kelsey. And if he catches it, hit him, knock him down. Don't let him go for 20 extra yards. Stop the run because he wears number 10, and his name Isaiah Pachenko is pretty physical runner, and he's pretty good. But my keys are hit Mahomes early and often, make him keep getting up off the field, cover Travis Kelsey. I do love the fact that Jalen Ramsey can hit with the best DBs in football. He last week had 3 passes thrown at him. One was 5 yards, one was not complete, one was intercepted. He also knocked the ball out of Ezekiel Elliott's hands. So caused some turnovers, get some good field position, stay on top, score touchdowns, hold them to field goals. That's my key. Kelsey's my biggest key.
Yeah, definitely Casey huge. Steve, I want to know your keys to the game against the Chiefs on Sunday.
I'm disappointed to see Mostert on there. Hopefully, it's just precautionary and he's going to be able to get back.
Last Wednesday, he didn't practice either. I think they give him the day off.
Hopefully, it's not a. What's that, Eddie? You're breaking up a little bit. What?
Sorry, same as last week. He was on there.
Okay. Well, hopefully he can make it back because we really can't afford to lose that. Our running game has been meager, and I had some defensive stats pulled up here, but I've moved on to different looks on my browser here. But keys to the game, underrated, absolutely underrated. Mom's a Bills fan, and she was griping, complaining for 10 days after they went over to London and ended up losing to a team that was able to stay in London over the weekend because they played back-to-back games over there. And her one thing was they had an unfair advantage, and all I said to her is, well, we're not going to play back-to-back games in Germany, but I really hope the Dolphins look at this and say, we're going to leave early. And I couldn't believe my ears when Sunday night they said that the Dolphins were going to be leaving for Germany on Monday. Huge, underrated move to get Miami there. They're not there for the experience. They're not there so Tua can go hit some golf course outside of Frankfurt. Is it nice and cool for him? Sure, absolutely. They're getting the experience.
And he did. He said he played golf today, so he did.
That's why I said it. Yeah, but that's not why he's over there. He's over there because McDaniel and co. said, "Hey, you know what? Let's go over there. Let's get ourselves acclimated because there is going to be a big difference of feeling like you're playing a game at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. What's the Chiefs' time zone? Are they 1 or 2 hours behind us?"
Well, the game's on 3:30 on Sunday for them.
Yeah, sure, 3:30 over there, but it's going to be 8:30 Kansas City's time in their brains. So let's wake up at 1 in the morning, get ourselves prepped up, taped up, stretched out, and then we're going to get out on a field and play football. Underrated move. Real key to the games. More than anything, it's very little is more frustrating than seeing a quarterback get 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds in the pocket to back out there, dance around. We don't get a flag for holding, and then they run for a first down, or they extend it to the point where they think they're going to run, and then they chuck it downfield for Kelsey or anybody else that can catch the ball. They really need to just not give that amount of time. I have confidence that our defensive backs are going to create an issue for their wide receivers to get open. But we need our defensive line to get home. We need AVG to be back there to be able to get home, throw some looks that really confuse them. Matt, you brought it up in that game when Baker did that big sack and everything. Every quarterback, you knock them off their game. It doesn't matter how great they are. 3-time first-team All-Pro Patrick Mahomes can get rattled, and you start getting in his head, and he's not sure what's going to happen and if he's going to get hit. That's going to do it. So, and Eddie, you had said it before, it's refreshing to see a defense that swarms. That's one of the things, I can't stand watching afternoon games after watching the fastest show on surf, race up and down the field and seeing them move like, molasses. It's frustrating sometimes to see our defense not swarm and then watching some teams really just, 49ers come to mind. They have that defense that just swarms to the ball, and we saw that last week against the Patriots, and I really think that that's going to be key to limiting their gains. Swarm to Kelsey, take him down, don't give him those big catches. I really feel confident about this. I agree. I think that being on that neutral site, we're going to come out with a level of energy that would we be hyped up if this was at Arrowhead in Kansas City? Absolutely. I think that we would be, but the crowd and everything would take it out of us. I really think that there's going to be an attitude and an aura about this team. Hopefully the adrenaline doesn't get too much of them and they don't get discouraged if, we go down, a score or two, but I don't think that's really going to happen. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Absolutely. To your point, I heard Travis Winfield today say on the official Dolphins podcast that the teams that travel early are 2-0. So it matters. It apparently matters. So you get acclimated. It's a long, long trip. So it's huge for the Dolphins to travel before. So I think it was a great move. And I truly believe that the whole team, they're not gonna say that. They're not gonna say they're praying for Tyreek, but I do believe that the whole team wants to win this game for Tyreek. Yeah, I really do. So next, we're gonna go to the big finish and the top 5 power rankings. Well, the whole league is crazy. When you think you had this thing figured out, somebody loses a big game that I had 2 weeks ago. The Lions at number 1, and they lose. The 49ers lose. It's just a mess. So I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs at number 2, the Miami Dolphins at number 3. I'm sorry, the Baltimore Ravens at number 3, the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 4, and I'm gonna say the Cincinnati Bengals are surging, gonna put it at number 5. I think they're truly surging. I think they're up and coming. So I want to know your thoughts, Matt. What are your top 5 power rankings, if you have any?
Dolphins solidly at number 5. They haven't shown me anything to be elevated up any higher than that. They can be number 1 sometime around the middle of February. I'll give them that. Ahead of them, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, and we're going to play mind games just in case any Kansas City Chiefs happen to log into FINS TV. We're going to put the Eagles at number 2 and the Chiefs at number 1.
Yeah, very good. Eddie, what are your thoughts? What are your top 5 power rankings you've had, the power rankings for this week?
Eagles at 1. I have the Chiefs at 2. Ravens at 3. I'll go with the Ravens at 3. Miami at 4. And Cincinnati making it in the top 5. They look good. Unless they lose Buffalo, then they're back out.
Yeah, if they get beaten by the Bills are going to be back in the top 5 probably by next week. So, Steve, what are your thoughts? What are your top 5 power rankings for this week?
It's tough. Fighting the homer in me, I have a tough time. But, Sammy, it's funny. You say, you put a team at number 1, they lose. I'm really upset that you didn't put the Chiefs at number 1. I want the Sammy
I did before and they lost, so it worked.
Do it again. Kidding.
That's why I put them at number 1.
I like that. Thank you. You got the assignment, Matt. Yep. But a lot of parity this week. I'm looking at the ticker for all the games this week. It's going to be an interesting what happens this week. You got 6-2 teams playing each other, 3-4 versus a 4-3, 5-2, and a 6-2 game. I think we're going to learn a lot about this, but the parity in this league is so crazy, which is evidenced every week by the fact that we just can't really keep our top 5 too consistent. We have some consistent players in there, but we'll go bottom to top. I've got Jaguars at 5, pretty impressive. Ravens, thank goodness nobody traded with them for a running back before the trade deadline. At number 4. The Dolphins at number 3, Chiefs at number 2, and Eagles at number 1. But man, there's a lot of parity in the league right now. Some top players are really tight with each other. Middle of the pack is really in there, and then you've just got a couple at the bottom of that bell curve that the Raiders.
Absolutely. So next we're gonna go to the post of the week. Let me see. I can get it. The post of the week. bring the post of the week back this week. It was necessary, but I'm gonna start first with Steve. What's your post of the week?
I appreciate you bringing back an opportunity for one of our original segments that we ever had. But going to give a shout out to one of the more popular people out on social media, Twitter, X, whatever, Ghost of Adam Gase. And this is more of a shout out to Matt Armstrong, to his redundancy factor that he called out several weeks ago here on FINS TV. This week, the Dolphins were down to their third left tackle, third left guard, backup center, and a second right guard. And to the point made earlier tonight, I think it was Matt, saying, maybe, I don't know, one of you guys was saying, best in the league in preventing quarterback hits with this roughshod offensive line. Huge shout out to them, and huge shout out to Ghost of Adam Gase for making my post or tweet of the week.
Absolutely. So my post of the week is
his team as well. Miami 17-3. They get the ball to start the second half. It's Toyota halftime. Go get him, Mike. Hustle in there.
Everybody was dressing up as Mike McDaniel for Halloween. And you saw the press conference, it was just startled by how many people were dressed up as him for Halloween. You could not believe it. So I was so funny that little kid, the mini Mike McDaniel. And next we're going to go to the post of the week, WEAK. The post of the week, guys, as always, is going to remain nameless, but this post says, I think Hill is great, but somewhat one-dimensional. He's a great fit for KC and now in Miami, but he's not a Diggs or Jefferson or AJ Brown. He's a great situation. If teams could redraft all wide receivers, I doubt seriously he'd be taken in the top 10. That's definitely the post of the week, WEAK. That was so lame.
I like it.
Absolutely, that's just amazing. But as always, I want to thank everybody. We hit for the third week in a row.
Real quick, Sammy. Just wanted to say something. Hey, I've got another post of the week here. I didn't give it to you in advance.
Please go ahead.
No. Hey, so real quick, whoever might watch us live, I don't know if you watch an entire hour and 15 minutes of us talking. I'd appreciate it if you did. Hit subscribe, hit like, share it with friends and everything. But the four of us, we really don't know each other than the fact that we're Miami Dolphins fans. You know, I've met Matt a few times. Never met Eddie until we were on this show. It's a pleasure. And Sammy, we've talked for years. You knew my wife. It's her birthday on Friday, by the way. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
it's coming up Friday. Happy birthday, Sherry. But, you know, we just don't know each other. So we're together. We do these things. But we love talking up these things, and we're humans, you know? And my other post of the week, and we're not going to share it up here, but I want to talk about it, that Eddie, you shared something yesterday, and you've got your dad is sick and everything, and he's a Korean War veteran, gets great benefits from the VA. But, you know, sometimes that's just not enough. And you shared out a GoFundMe thing. And we see enough of these GoFundMes out there that go viral and just get a ton. And you're not asking for the world here, man. But I just wanted to say that thank you to your dad for his service to our country. I would absolutely love it if somebody would pick this up and say, oh, my God, that's fantastic. And we're really sorry about what's going on here. But we're very fortunate for everything that we have in our lives, and we don't really see what's going on in others people's unless they peel back that curtain a little bit. So it was a moment of vulnerability for you, Eddie, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. But that's really my tweet of the week for you, you know, sharing that out with us. And I really hope that we can get you the help that you need for your dad.
Well, I absolutely appreciate that. It's hard to share out because you don't want to ask for anything.
Yeah, and I know, Steve, you just said it perfectly, but Steve and I are veterans. November is important to us because of all holidays. There's one in this month that we, doggone it, we earned that day, and we still have to go to work, right? But I promise you, and I hope you'll share this with your dad, if Steve and I were in the same room with your dad, we would probably sit there and just stare, like in the presence of, he's a Korean War vet. I didn't know that. And and I apologize if it was out there. I don't remember seeing that. I don't know that I would be able to talk to your dad as a Korean War vet. I think I would probably turn into a puddle, because those guys are the heroes. And like I said, I know that Steve would feel the same. So anybody who's watching, Eddie's got a GoFundMe. You can find it on twitter.com, x.com, whatever you want to call it. Every little bit helps. Eddie's a great guy. We have a blast here every week. But as Steve said, this is real life. It's not often that people pull that curtain back. And Eddie put himself out there for his dad. So if you are moved, please feel free. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. Nothing else needs to be said. Eddie, we'll do anything possible. We're going to keep sharing it, and anything we can do, you can count on us. So, and say hi to your dad, and thank you for your service. And to both of you, salute to service month in the NFL. So to both of you, thank you for your service, guys.
You're here.
So as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate all the views in the past weeks. So hopefully we're going to continue the streak this week. And always remember, then when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. Thank you, guys. Fins up.
Fins up, guys.
Fins up.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins.